In the most hostile environment on Earth, a silent war is being waged. Underneath millions of square miles of shifting, crushing ice, some of the most advanced machines ever built are on the move. These are nuclear-powered submarines disappearing beneath the Arctic for missions that are part military strategy, part civilian protection. So why are these top-secret patrols under the ice so critical for global security and for preventing maritime disasters? We're about to uncover the hidden world of Arctic submarine operations, where one wrong move could trigger an international incident, and where the data they gather could end up saving lives. To understand the main mission here, you have to appreciate a submarine's greatest advantage: stealth. And there is no better place on the planet to hide than the Arctic Ocean. The thick, constantly moving ice cap acts as a natural shield, making these subs almost impossible to spot from satellites, planes, or ships. This unique environment has made the Arctic a critical bastion for the nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, or SSBNs, of nations like the United States and Russia. These aren't just any submarines, they're the ultimate insurance policy for national security. Each one carries long-range nuclear missiles, giving them what military planners call a credible second strike capability. The logic is grimly simple. If a country ever launched a surprise nuclear attack, the SSBNs hiding under the Arctic ice would survive, ready to retaliate. That guaranteed response is what has maintained the fragile balance of nuclear deterrence for decades. Russia, with its massive northern fleet, has long treated the Arctic as its strategic backyard, a safe harbor for its most important naval assets. The country continues to build out its fleet of advanced Boreas-class submarines, each carrying 16 ballistic missiles, with plans to put even more in the region. But where there are hiders, there are always hunters. In response, nuclear-powered attack submarines, or SSNs, are sent on their own ice patrols. Their job is to play a high-stakes game of cat and mouse to track and shadow the other side's missile subs. This silent, unseen undersea duel is a direct continuation of Cold War tensions, a constant, low-temperature conflict fought for strategic advantage in the planet's harshest waters. But the mission is about way more than just hiding and hunting. The Arctic is changing. As the planet warms, the ice is melting at a rate that's frankly shocking. This isn't just an environmental crisis, it's a geopolitical game-changer. New shipping lanes like the Northern Sea Route are opening up, which could slash travel time between Europe and Asia by weeks. The region is also thought to hold a staggering 13% of the world's undiscovered oil and 30% of its undiscovered natural gas, plus $1 trillion worth of rare earth minerals. Suddenly, the Arctic isn't a frozen wasteland anymore. It's a strategic corridor with immense economic and military value. This has kicked off a new great game for influence, and submarines are a key piece on the board. For the US Navy and its allies, ice patrols are about projecting power and ensuring freedom of navigation. They run regular exercises, most famously the Biennial Ice Exercise, or ICX. During ICEX, submarines practice operating in this incredibly tough environment, testing new gear and tactics. These drills do a few things at once. They send a clear signal to rivals like Russia and a newly interested China, which now calls itself a near-Arctic state, that these international waters will stay open. They also give crews priceless experience in a region where just getting around is treacherous. GPS gets unreliable at high latitudes, communication is spotty at best, and the underwater landscape is a minefield of ice keels, massive chunks of ice that can hang hundreds of feet down from the surface, posing a deadly threat to any sub that isn't paying close attention. While the military competition gets the headlines, there's another vital reason for these patrols that has nothing to do with war. Submarines on ice patrol are also the unsung heroes of civilian maritime safety. The same ice that gives them cover also creates enormous danger for ships on the surface. The biggest threat? Icebergs. What you see of an iceberg is just the tip. The vast majority of its mass is underwater, and its shape can be wildly unpredictable. A ship that strays too close can be torn apart. This is where a submarine has a unique skill. Using specialized upward-looking sonar, it can map the entire underwater profile of an iceberg with stunning precision. It can measure its draft, how deep it goes, and reveal its true shape, gathering data that's impossible for ships or planes to get. This information is invaluable. It helps scientists and organizations like the International Ice Patrol, which was formed after the Titanic sank, to better predict how icebergs will drift. By understanding an iceberg's full shape, they can more accurately model how it will be pushed by deep ocean currents, not just by the wind. This forecasting helps create safety warnings and charts that steer commercial ships away from danger. In this way, these military assets serve a dual purpose, contributing to both navigation safety and vital environmental research by collecting data on ice thickness, water temperature, and salinity. So, how do you operate a billion-dollar submarine with 100 sailors on board when there's a ceiling of solid ice over your head? More importantly, how do you get out? It's one of the most technically demanding things you can do. Before even trying to surface, a sub crew has to find the perfect spot. Using a mix of upward-looking sonar and cameras, they hunt for areas of thinner ice or for natural gaps called polynias. Once they've found a spot, the surfacing process begins. All the masts and periscopes are pulled in. The large wings on the sub, its diving planes, are turned vertically so they don't get snapped off. If the ice is thin enough, say under 3 feet, the sub might just punch through with sheer momentum. But for thicker ice, they need to be more methodical. The submarine will rise slowly until its reinforced sail, the tower structure, touches the bottom of the ice. Then, the crew starts pumping huge amounts of water out of the ballast tanks, making the sub dramatically more buoyant. This creates a powerful, relentless upward force. Inside the sub, the crew can hear the immense pressure building, followed by the sound of cracking ice that echoes through the whole boat. Finally, with thousands of tons pushing up, the ice shatters, and the submarine breaks through to the frigid Arctic air. As the ice recedes, the region is becoming more accessible and, as a result, more contested. We're seeing a major uptick in military activity from multiple nations. Russia is heavily militarizing its Arctic coastline, building new bases and deploying advanced weapons to assert its control over the Northern Sea route. In response, NATO has increased its own patrols and surveillance flights, with allies like Norway, the UK, and the US working in lockstep to monitor Russian movements. But the challenges aren't just military. The Arctic is home to critical undersea infrastructure, including the fiber optic cables that carry nearly all of our global internet traffic. These cables are incredibly vulnerable, not just to accidents from things like ship anchors, but also to potential sabotage. Submarines, with their advanced sensors, play a key role in monitoring and protecting these vital arteries of modern life. The dual nature of these patrols, part military, part civilian, is becoming more intertwined every day. The same sub that might be tracking an adversary one day could be mapping a dangerous iceberg the next.